Hi, I'm Michael Bruce of the Michael Bruce Speed and Performance Centre, the UK's premier performance centre for elite athletes. So we had one player in particular, a young left back, I call Vashon Neufeld, his name is. He came to me at the age of 8. And even at the age of 8, I realised that he had awesome abilities. Don't ask me what they were, but actually I had an eye where I saw that, you know, as a left footer, I saw the obvious benefits. So the first thing we worked on one of our key areas. So actually, although at that time I didn't realise what our key areas were, that really was the birth of our key areas. So the first thing we worked on, as I worked on as an athlete, was strength. Because at 8, you're not that strong, you're not that supple, you're not that mobile, and there's a lot of fear in what you do. The first thing we did, I can remember, is we did bounding over hurdles. And if you can imagine an 8-year-old trying to bound hurdles, it was daunting, he was very much afraid. But he did it in the end. He had a steely determination to ensure that he got over those hurdles. Bounding stroke plyometrics focuses on the legs and developing strength in the legs, the calf muscles, the glutes, the quad muscles, all the muscles relevant and specific in football. So actually, the exercise you'd have to go through is age specific also. So at a young age, at 8, it's more about bounding to develop strength, because strength is one of the key prerequisites of effective and elite performance. So with Vashon, what we did is we got him to jump over 6 hurdles. The hurdles were set at 2 foot, sorry, about 1 foot. 1 foot. He had to jump over those hurdles, land flat, go high, land flat, stand still, and almost repeat that 6 times. That's what he had to do. As he got older, at the age of 12, then we could put the hurdles up and then repeat the same thing at 14, 15, the same exercise again. All we did, we increased the intensity of what he did. The intensity focuses on, we shortened the recovery, we raised the height, and we shortened the space in between the hurdles. That's the intensity. Certainly from a beginner, it's important that we develop technical ability. One of the problems we face in football, certainly in this country, is that sports performance actually, is that we focus purely on strength rather than focusing on technical ability. So we know and we understand that actually at a certain age, for example 18, speed can be developed and your speed don't kick in until that time in any event. But actually if you wait until 18 to learn and teach technique, then clearly, you know, we'll be in trouble. I think technique in relation to, specifically related to speed, focuses on a couple of key areas. 3 of those areas are an effective warm-up. Part of an effective warm-up pretty much means increasing your core body temperature. So that could be jogging for probably about 10 minutes with your hat on, with all your clothes on, especially in winter, because warm-up in the winter is totally different to warm-up in the summer. But if we take warming up in the winter, for example, you keep your tracksuit on. If you happen to have a hat on, you leave it on. Increase the core body temperature. From that point, the muscles are supple, so we can then stretch out the limbs and so on. Once your core body temperature is increased and we're effectively warmed up, only at that stage can we execute a development in any technical ability. So can you teach someone to run quicker? Absolutely. Now, one of the questions I'm often asked by academy directors is, can you make this player quicker? Or, I don't believe you can make someone quicker. Now, naturally, if I take myself as an example, at the age of 11, I ran 12.5 seconds for the 100 meters. At the age of 18, I ran 10.4. So factually, yes, you can. And I think if you take that simple process, the answer is simply yes. You can take an athlete and get them to run quicker. Now, obviously, there are many, many different areas in terms of developing that speed, but short answer is absolutely. What areas can you use to develop speed? If we look at mobility, flexibility, and range of movement, that's one key area. The development of those 3 areas effectively means that your stride range is increased. You increase that through flexibility, effective warm-up, proper stretching, dynamic stretching, which then increases your mobility, which ultimately increases your speed. In relation to developing speed, another area of developing speed is around pure speed itself. How do we develop pure speed? So unlike the 100 meters, 100-meter sprinter, where there are 5 areas and elements of developing pure speed, in football, clearly there isn't 100 meters, therefore speed has to be developed much quicker. So the 2 key areas of development and speed in football is 1, reaction, which involves processing, and 2, acceleration. So the training for a footballer, unlike a 100-meter runner, is done over 20 meters. First 5 meters develops reaction. The second 20 to 30 meters, acceleration. Those are the two of the key areas to developing speed. The name fusion comes directly from fusion, linking together football and athletics. So it's not enough for a footballer, especially nowadays, just to be technical and expect to succeed. Now you almost have to be athletic, 100%. So much so that it's sort of skewed from technique to athletic ability. So in my search for excellence in terms of developing footballers, high performance, what I've actually done is looked at, well, as an ex-international athlete myself, how would I do it? What were the things that I could have benefited from in my time as an athlete? The world of football is currently going through a revolution that is irrevocably changing the way the game is played. 1, technique. 2, athletic ability. The fusion, which really is where the word came from, is marrying technical ability, athleticism, putting them together to create a new standard of footballer. What does an academy look for in a footballer? In the first instance, some years ago, academies looked at technical players, because we then looked at the teams around the world that were successful, tried to copy them. We looked at Spain, who had recently won the World Cup, and we felt that we needed very small players, supremely technical. There was no concern about their strength. The Germans won the World Cup. Then we decided that athletics suddenly became very important. So now we needed players that were very quick, very aggressive. Our philosophy is, especially in my experience, that the Spanish system is fantastic, the German system is fantastic, but actually there needs to be a marrying of the two, hence fusion, where a player is not only technical, but athletic. And for me, that produces a world-class footballer. Psychologically, the perception of a club towards a footballer is a footballer that has great attitude, that is coachable, but at the same time is aggressive. Psychologically, clubs look for attitude and coachability in a player. So we do that through a process of pushing, psychologically pushing and pulling, where we stretch the mind, we put the body in fatigue, certainly in training, and then we develop more of a psychological side and edge to what they do. We set the player an exercise under extreme circumstances, and the player must successfully complete that task, and that defines the mental processing of the player. So I'll give you an example. So one way to develop mental processing would be through an exercise called color psychology. Our philosophy at the Microbrew Speed and Performance Center is based on our unique TAPE system: technical, athletic, psychological, social, and educational.